back, everybody, to another commentated DVR, and this time we're going to be talking about a couple of things. First is going to be a knife edge. We're also going to talk about spirals and camera rake. So let's talk about the knife edge first. Go ahead and take a look at this. This is at regular speed. Alright, and let's see here in slow motion. You can see here I'm just looking at that gate behind that start gate. So that's really what makes it easy here. You need to picture, the gate behind. You need to keep your eye on where that gate you expect is going to be. Problem there with a lot of pilots, even some of the great fast pilots there, would crash there sometimes because the wind, it was really erratic and it was gusty. It wasn't consistent. So you could take the same line twice and have a perfect line the first time, and then the second time it would blow you right into that gate. Really bad news, so I think taking it on the final day was a good call to make for better racing because honestly, the race directors were just spending too much time. So there we are again. Let's take a peek at this one more time in slow motion. You can see how I kicked myself out to kind of compensate for that gusty wind. And it allowed me to line up that second gate, no problem. The issue there is you get in a heated battle, you're behind or you're ahead, someone's right behind you. It's really hard to control yourself. You don't want to enter that gate too fast. And if you do that, it would push you right into that knife edge section. Alrighty, let's move on to this other piece of kryptonite, this little spiral section. You can see here, I'm blowing it out like big egg. It's not a nice tight circle. You'd watch the faster people, they would have a nice tight, like a perfect circle right in the middle of that, and you would always keep those poles right in view. And for whatever reason, the wind was gusty, but I just could not seem to get that rhythm down. I'm really excited because it gave me something to work on when I came home. But you'll see it here coming again. I'm just trying to not crash here, obviously. But let's get over to the spiral section, and we'll slow it down a little bit, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I enter. That's a lot better. You can see how I'm keeping everything in the right side of my view. Alright, so let's look at the nonsense run. Now, you can see here, blowout wide, wind gust, way egg shape, not sphere, not a circle, not okay. So this is what I'm talking about. This is ugly, terrible nonsense. You don't want to look like this doing this type maneuver. Now let's take a look at a little bit better run. You can see right side, I'm keeping those poles, that multi-GP blue flag on that pole in my view the whole time. That's keeping me nice and tight. That's the way that you want to strive to do that type of a section. Okay, so lastly, let's talk about camera rake here. So I was running about 50 degrees on this, and it was kind of a little tiny frame. Concept frame, I'm running Emax 2300 kV motors, but you can see I'm doing a lot of something that I call porpoising. I'm jumping up and down. I'm kind of going up and down, so you'll see in the straightaways, that's okay right there, but I'm not nailing the throttle in the open straights because I'm immediately having to get right back off the throttle so I don't slam into the, well, I guess I slammed into that. Alrighty, let's fast forward a little bit. I'm here with my buddies in Tucson experimenting with about 70 degrees of camera rake. This is a nice cruise speed run here on 4-cell. Check out the spirals. You can see how I'm easily able to keep that pole in view. I think having a little bit more camera rake for my style is making it easier for me to kind of whip around turns, possibly. I'm still experimenting with this, but I have much better control at a higher pace. I'm not porpoising. I'm not jumping up and down. I'm not saying this is the only way or this is the 100% right way. What I'm saying is that it might be my right way. It seems to be working for me. I've made a couple of more improvements in Sebring here. Just feeling a little more connected with the quad, but just keep an eye on all the turns. How I'm able to keep every single obstacle in view as I'm entering or as I'm exiting, and I'm doing it at a lot higher rate of speed because the camera rake is kind of forcing me to do it. Now you'll see I'm trying to keep I call it half green and half blue. Basically, you want to have half sky, you want to have half grass or half terrain. And that's kind of at my cruise speed. That's what I talk about. Your cruise pace it's actually faster. Now I'm only running a 2.1 Foxier lens. I know a lot of people are running the RunCam 2.1, which gives you that GoPro stretching effect because you're actually having quite a bit more field of view. I'm comfortable flying this. I know and it also looks a little bit slower because it doesn't have that fisheye effect. But this is what I'm comfortable flying. And this seems to be working for me. I'm not jumping up and down anymore. My spirals are nice and tight, and I'm very controlled around each and every turn. can see that pole stays nice and tight in view. And you'll see in a later clip, out in the open, it's definitely, the speed is definitely coming in a little bit more for me. So just stay tuned. So here's what I'm talking about. Here's a 5S run, and you'll see here when I'm on the throttle, I can still stay forward. I'm not porpoising up and down. And I'm able to keep those poles right in view, right where I want it, nice and tight on those spirals. Same thing for the split S's, same thing for anything. I can keep everything in view, and I'm not jumping up and down. So I have a little bit more control as far as my elevation. It did take me some time because I was clipping the ground quite a bit. 70 degrees is just no joke. It's just forcing me to go fast everywhere and constantly stay out of my comfort zone. So let's take a look at one of these spirals in slow motion here. So you can see here as I'm approaching, I'm keeping that pole right there in view the whole time until I rock it forward, because I'm through it. Now, it's going to take some practice. You want to keep everything a nice, tight circle. That's a perfect circle is always going to be the best for you, but you want to try, then when you're practicing, just try to make perfect circles. And you can practice this with just flags, but changing the elevation and keeping a tight circle is a little bit trickier than it sounds. So just give it a shot. Alrighty, so after a little bit of R&R in Tucson, things are starting to come together. This is my first time here back at Albuquerque, and this is one of the earlier packs on the course that we put together. Keep close eye on the things that I had talked about, and you can see the camera rake here is about 70 to 75 degrees. Running the same rigs, but yeah, the props are basically gone. My cruise speed has definitely increased. You can see I'm not ever really looking up at the sky, so I'm constantly charging forward, which is something that's important. You constantly want to be charging every single section. When you find yourself slowing down, it's because you're uncomfortable, and you'll know real quick those are the sections that you need to practice. Keep an eye on the spirals. You can see here I'm looking at the gate behind, real similar to that knife edge section, but I'm talking about right here. Watch how tight and perfect circle that I'm staying. I know that there's a gate at the bottom, so it's a high-low. That's exactly what I'm focusing really the most on the last 2 weeks, is being nice tight spirals, because that was something that was a huge weakness of mine. Most definitely it's becoming a strength. So I'd recommend getting out there, set up a flag, a gate, and just practice going high-low, low-high, left, right, and yeah, put it into a course and get comfortable with it. This is just cruise speed, so stay tuned and I'll show you a Let It Eat clip. Alrighty, this is going to be a yeehaw moment. This is 5-cell, same rig's always flown. Camera rake is probably 70 to 75 degrees. And zero porpoising, very, very tight around every section, and this is just giving it hell. This is everything this quad's got on 5S, 2750 kV motors, Dow 5050 props. This is as fast as I can go on this course, and I'm getting more comfortable at this level, so I would say to just get out there and practice pushing yourself, because it seems like my comfort zone is starting to come back up. Sebring, my comfort zone was probably a good 30% slower than this. Now, there are no nerves in play right now, so I'll definitely see what's gonna happen at this next call out with Mr. Dolma heads up and the Chief, and as well as all the other crazy fast pilots that are going to show up at Open Grove. But this is getting closer to where I need to, want to, and strive to be. So I hope this helps you guys, and thank you for watching. And yeah, go break some stuff.